Good evening, all. Welcome to the problem solving session. So, let us wait for 2 minutes for others to join, okay? So, my screen is visible. Can anyone confirm? Can anyone confirm if my screen is visible to you? Okay. So, let us start. Just a second. So, welcome all to the problem solving session. This is session 10. And in this, I hope you have covered the lectures that were related to the topics of entity linking and entity linking and information extraction. So let us see some questions related to that. My screen is visible, right? My screen is visible, no? And I am
Yeah,
also audible?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're audible and screen also visible.
Okay, okay. Okay, so let us see the first question. So you please attempt this, and here multiple options can be correct. Okay. So though it seems like a multiple choice question, it can be multiple select also. So you have to choose all the options that satisfy. Okay. Please attempt this. I hope you have gone through the lecture of entity linking. The question is related to that, then it will be easy to attempt if you have already gone through the lecture. So it can be multiple select. So the question says, which of the following phenomena can pose challenge to the task of entity linking? So you have to identify the challenges for entity linking. Put your answers in the chat box once you have attempted, so that after that we can know and see why which answer is correct and why. I'll explain that. Please attempt and put your answers in the chat box. 1 and 3. Okay, please, Siddharth, please check your answer again. Raja Raval, also please check your answer again. See if any other also apply option also applies. Please see to it. Please see if any other option also applies. 1 and 3 still. Others also attempt. Put your answers in the chat box. Rajni and Rishita. Please attempt and put your answers in the chat box. For those who joined just now, please attempt this question. We will discuss in 2 minutes. And here multiple options can be correct. In paper also you may encounter the question that it is given as multiple choice question, but then where several options can be correct instead of just one. So you have to take all those that satisfy according to you. Okay. So in this question, you are to identify the challenges for entity linking. What are the challenges that we try to overcome when we implement the concept, while implementing the concept of entity linking? Anyone still attempting, or shall I discuss? Please let me know. Okay, let us discuss. So first option says variations in textual representation of the same entity. So this is a valid option or not? How many of you agree? So let us see the explanation for it. So variations in textual representations of the same entity. So let's say the entity, anybody saying anything? Valid, yes. Yeah, Khyati is right. Satish also. Correct answer. Now let us see why. So why do we see variations in textual representations of the same entity? Uh, Let me give you one example. So some people can make spelling mistakes also here, right? And they can make the capital letter mistake, like which word they are capitalizing or not. So that all comes under the textual representation. So let's say the word was what to say, USA. Some are representing it like this, and it can be written as United States of America. Some may make mistakes in United, though they wanted to say this only, but they wrote like this, and our algorithm will consider it as a different entity. Some can just write it as state, and for some they can keep this First, they can write like camel case, keeping U capital, S capital, A capital. That is the camel case, first letter of every word. Some cannot keep this S capital. So this is a valid option. Option one. For now, this is second one is very interesting. Some people were not able to identify why. Let me give you a very interesting example for this. So let's say, what is an abbreviation? Shortened form of something. Let's say we have these two abbreviations. Now please speak up, unmute yourself and tell me one full form for this. Please unmute yourself and tell me what can be
Natural
the...
language processing.
Yes, that is very evident in our case. We are studying the course, which is this only. What is the other full form for this? What does this abbreviation indicate in addition to natural language processing? Can anybody tell? Can anybody tell?
Neuro linguistic programming.
Yes, exactly. So what is that? This is how humans communicate with machines, human to machine communication. And this is how humans communicate to their surroundings. And in surroundings, there can be several other humans. Human behavior can be a part of this. This is a very widely studied concept in psychology to understand how humans behave with each other, their general behavior. So we see that abbreviated names of an entity. Why we are referring to it as an entity here? Why? Because it can be the name of a course or it can be the name of some programming language. So that is your entity. But this abbreviation, what is it referring to? Whether it is referring to natural language processing, that is a course of data analytics, or this deep learning, NLP, text information retrieval, or whether it refers to some course of psychology, that is the name. And multiple entities with the same name. Can anybody give me the example for this? Multiple entities with the same name. We have studied this concept earlier. Let's see how many of you are able to apply. Please
Bank.
unmute and tell. Huh?
Bank.
Exactly. So what do we call that thing as?
um, Homonyms.
No, polysemy. Like one word, multiple forms.
Okay.
Like multiple entities. Here, this bank refers to the financial building. But here, it refers to the bank of a river where we go for taking a walk. Right? So this is like multiple entities, but same name is there, right? In case of homonyms, only the sound is same, right? Like this can be an homonym, right and right. This can be a homonym, but is it having the same name? No, right? This is not the same name.
Yes.
Let's say this very famous example that you will be able to relate. New York. Multiple entities, same name. We know New York is a country, and there was this one movie released few years back, New York, with this name. So whether it refers to this as a country, in the context of a country, or whether it is in the context of a movie, that we have to identify. So we say multiple entities with the same name. Okay. So here, what are your correct options? Is option 1, 2, and 3. So your answer here is 1, 2, and 3. Is it clear to all?
Yes.
Can anybody tell why didn't we select option 4?
If entity not present in database, we can't link to the that particular entity.
Yes. Yes, then it in that case accounts for, this kind of the problem that this entity was never found out of vocabulary problem or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, we can always identify in the closed space. Given a database, we will try to retrieve it from there and then identify. Let's say a new entity comes, let's say in 2019 when this term COVID came, it could not identify which type of entity is this, whether it's a disease, name of a person, place, organization, or what, right? Clear to all? Clear to
yeah,
all?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, great. Let us move to the next question. We should know what options we are ticking. It should not be like blindly we are ticking or something we thought. There should be proper reasoning behind it. That's why they try to give you this multiple select options. So in this, you have to think very carefully why this option can be correct or why this option is incorrect according to you when you are attempting. Okay, be very clear with this. So let us move to the next question. This is very easy. So, in the task of Wikification, what is the order in which the following steps are performed? So, here MD refers to mention detection, entity disambiguation denoted by ED, and link generation LG. So, here just to tell which option we will perform. So, this arrow refers in the increasing order, like first, second, and third step. So, please identify and take the correct option. This is only single option correct. Here I am telling you every time this can be multiple option correct, only single option correct. But in the paper, you have to identify this yourself. Okay. Okay. So please attempt this question. What is Wikification? Think about that, and in that order, you will perform the steps. I'll give you 2 minutes to attempt. Please put your answers in the chat box. Fourth. Okay. Great. Rati says option one. Shall we discuss? Everybody attempted? I don't see a lot of answers in the chat box as compared to the number of people who have joined. Please, everyone, give an attempt to this question. This is the easiest question that we are discussing today. Directly, it has been taken from the lecture notes. If you have gone through them sincerely. So let us see which option is correct. So, okay, please unmute and tell what is Wikification. First of all, we need to know that.
If we take like Wikipedia as a database, then and we try to link our entities to Wikipedia database, then it is called the Wikification.
Exactly. That's the correct explanation. So now let us see what are these different terms that it is referring to: mention detection, entity disambiguation, and link generation. So let's say I have four articles: A1, A2, A3, A4, and T1, T2, T3 are the different terms that appears. So let's say there is this term. Let's say, for example, there is this term in the article 1, that is NLP. Now I do not know something about NLP, or it is discussing about some application of NLP in a particular scenario, but let's say I want to know what is NLP. So here in this entire corpus, let's say some corpus is given to us of a big data, and I want to identify what are the important entities, what are the important terms for which the explanation should be given, or I should give links to different pages, different Wikipedia pages. So like identifying that which items should be linked. So in the case of mention detection, you will identify what terms to link. सबसे पहले आप आइडेंटिफाई करने की कोशिश करेंगे कि मुझे कौन सी टर्म्स को लिंक करना है, विच टर्म्स डू आई वांट टू मेंशन. मेंशन का मतलब यहाँ पे है कि वी हैव टू गिव सम रेफरेंस टू सम एक्सटर्नल विकिपीडिया पेज फॉर फर्दर डिस्कशन और फॉर फर्दर explanation of that particular concept. Okay, then what does the next step say? Entity disambiguation, and then is this link generation. So let me tell you first, the correct answer should be option 4. The correct answer should be this. Then after, like, first given any corpus, I will try to identify which are the important terms for which are the important terms that I should link. I should give links to external Wikipedia pages. Okay, now अभी हमने ये आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया कि हमें कौन सी टर्म्स को लिंक करना है, बट वी शुड ऑल्सो नो कि हमें इनको किससे लिंक करना है. सो फॉर दैट वी गो टू दिस फेज, दैट इज लिंक जनरेशन. सो the terms that you have identified, to which terms we should link the mentioned terms to. Matlab, all can understand Hindi here, right? Please let me know if you prefer me to
Yeah.
speak in English. All are comfortable with Hindi?
Yes.
ओके ग्रेट. सो एक बार हमने आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया कि हमें कौन सी टर्म्स को लिंक करना है. अब उन टर्म्स को लिंक किससे करना है? जैसे हमने एक कॉर्पस में टर्म आइडेंटिफाई किया एनएलपी टेक्स्ट. अब हमें इन दोनों टर्म्स को किस विकिपीडिया पेज से लिंक करना है, तो अब मुझे इसके लिए कैंडिडेट्स जनरेट करने होंगे. ठीक है, कि मैं इनको पेज 1 से लिंक करूं, पेज 2 से लिंक करूं, पेज 3 से, किससे लिंक करना है? टर्म 1 और टर्म 2 को. ठीक है, एंड देन कम्स द फेज ऑफ दिस एंटिटी डिसएम्बिगुएशन. अब मान लो जैसे हमारे पास ये पहली टर्म थी एनएलपी. अब ये एनएलपी जो टर्म है, ये नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग को रेफर कर रही है या ये न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोग्रामिंग को रेफर कर रही है? बिकॉज सेम एंटिटी, multiple one abbreviation, multiple entities can be there. So now I have to disambiguate. ये जो मेरे पास कैंडिडेट्स आए हैं फर्स्ट फेज में से, लेट्स से जो पेज 1 था वो नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग वाले को इंडिकेट कर रहा था, पेज 3 था वो न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक वाले को इंडिकेट कर रहा था. तो T1 I should link it to P1 or to P3. That I need to identify. ये मैंने कैंडिडेट्स जनरेट कर लिए अपने फेज 2 में, फेज 1 में मैंने ये जनरेट किया, फेज 2 में मैंने ये पॉइंट्स जनरेट किए P1 P2 P3, और अब फेज 3 में मुझे ये एंटिटी डिसएम्बिगुएशन को आइडेंटिफाई करना है, वेदर इट शुड पॉइंट टू दिस और इट शुड पॉइंट टू दिस। तो ये जो चीज है, सो दिस इज फेज 1, दिस इज फेज 2, this is your phase of what say mention detection, this is your phase of link generation, and this is your phase of entity disambiguation. What is the perfect candidate for T1, whether it's P1 or P3? T1 के लिए perfect candidate कौन है? Once you identify, let's say it's talking about natural language processing, let's say P1, then you will keep this link, and that is your concept of entity linking. Okay, so are we clear with this? Why we need to do entity disambiguation? And why we are performing it after link generation and not before link generation? Clear to all?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Just a second. Please attempt the next question. Please attempt this question. A second, give me a second. Please attempt this. Hello? हाँ, कोई बात नहीं. So please attempt this question. So it is asking, see, sometimes they will mention that multiple options are allowed, but not every time they will mention. So you have to identify in this case whether it's an MSQ, multiple select type, or an MCQ. Okay? Am I audible to all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think my camera is off. Okay, let us see this question. What does it say? So it says ki can we, like we discussed earlier, this mention detection denoted by MD and this entity disambiguation. So now it says ki now when I want to build a good mention detection and a disambiguation system, key phraseness and commonness. This is the technique. So key phraseness is the technique for mention detection, and for disambiguation one of the measures is commonness. So it is asking ki using only these two measures, like only for entity detect, let's say mention detection, I used only key phraseness as a very simple baseline measure, and for entity detection what measure I used is this commonness. We will see what these measures are in the subsequent slides. I have questions for that as well. But now first we need to identify कि using only these two things, can I build a good accurate system? So you have to select all the options, and if you think why, the reason is here given. So you just need to identify which two options are correct or which three options are correct in this scenario. Okay? Clear to all? The question is clear, I hope. Please put your answers in the chat box once you have identified the correct options. This is easy if you know the concept of commonness and the key phraseness. I think only knowing the concept of commonness also would suffice here. 2 and 4. Okay. Let us wait for others also to attempt. Let's wait for 2 minutes. Also, if you are saying 2 and 4, you should be ready with your answer why 1 and 3 is not correct. I will ask. In case of MSQ, we should be very clear why particular option is correct or incorrect. Every single option we should be aware of. So anyone still attempting or shall I discuss it? Please unmute and tell.
Okay. Yeah. So
Shall I discuss? Begin the discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So let us see. So, what is the formula for commonness? Let us see. Let's say I have some concept which I denote by C. And let's say I have some word W which I denote by W. Word denoted by W. Okay. So, what does the commonness formula say? It should be double N here, I think. Yeah. So, how many times the link is there between a particular word and a concept upon the number of times in the entire concept the word has been linked to a certain concept. It can be like multiple concepts. Okay, like word 1, it can be linked to C1, C2, C3, C4. Okay, and I have to. So, what does the commonness formula say in general? It says like if a particular term is, I have to identify. Okay, in this case, what I'm trying to do in the why we are using it in the phase of this disambiguation system is like I'm trying to identify after I have generated all the candidates. How should I select the final candidate from the? I will explain it in the next slide. Just give me a second. Yeah. So we have three phases we saw in the earlier question: mention detection, link generation, and what was the last phase? Entity disambiguation. So here, from here, I identify which entities to I should link, to which concepts to link the entities to. That means I am generating here the candidate options, candidate links. Okay, and in this entity disambiguation I have to filter the candidate lists. Okay, so for that I use one concept, commonness. So what they say in this concept now, कि we will select the most frequent. Let's say W1 was linked to concept 1 90% of the time, W1 was linked to corpus concept 2 5% of the time, and W1 was, let's make it 6, and W1 was linked to concept 3 4% of the time. So according to this, it will say like for W1, in my case it should be linked to concept 1. Why? Because it assumes like the more number of times a particular term is associated to a particular concept, it should be taken into account. That's why it is referred to as common. Here common refers to the higher frequency of that word being linked to a certain concept. So in this case, what should be my commonness value? Can anybody tell? I already wrote the formula here. L stands for the link. Can you tell based on this formula, like W1 linked to concept 1, what should be the formula? According to this formula, what should be the answer? Anybody can tell? So it was like W1 was linked to concept 1, concept 2, concept 3, 90% of the
C1,
6 and 4. What?
C1, C1,
Huh?
C1, concept C1.
Yeah, but what should be the value of this commonness based on this formula?
90
Okay, okay.
divided by 100.
9,
Exactly. So according to this,
90
it will
divided
always
by,
select the
yeah.
most frequent one. I
Mm.
think just erase it. Otherwise, I think you might disregard this option. So, according to this commonness, this option is correct. So, but what he is asking, can we build an accurate mention detection and disambiguation system using key phraseness and commonness? No. Why? Because it is always selecting the most frequent concept. But it might be the case now that the word that I am referring to here, let's say the word was NLP and it was referring to the concept of natural language processing 90% of the time. But now I'm talking in the scenario of neurolinguistic programming, and that is taken as concept 2, and it will say ki, because mostly it's linked to natural language processing, let us mark it as correct. But my actual scenario was at this point of time I was talking about neurolinguistic programming, so in this scenario it will be wrong, right? Or let's say the movie, I was talking about the country New York. Let's say I was talking about New York, and as a movie review, I had some data for the movie review, and I was talking about New York as a movie, but it said because of the news headlines and the entire corpus it has, so it referred to New York concept 1 as a country, and it said ki now based on the commonness value, this New York should be linked to the country. But I was talking in the context of a movie, right? So it will not link it to that and will say ki it is referring to a country here. Then this thing is wrong, na? I cannot build an accurate system in that case, right? And why what is the reason they are mentioning it here in option 4? Why that is a problem? Because it does not take the context into account. Had it taken into account the surrounding words, what I am talking about, from the entire corpus surrounding words and the neighboring sentences, it would have known that I was talking about New York in the context of a movie, not in the context of a country. Okay, so that's why option 2 and 4 is the correct here. Is it clear to all?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Can anybody tell why option 3 is incorrect? Any idea? Rough idea will also work. Tell. Because I think some people mentioned in the chat box only 2 and 4 option is correct. They never mentioned option 3 is correct. So Raja is saying option 2 and 3. Kathy, can you unmute and tell why option 2 and 4 is only correct and why not option 3?
Yeah, actually, I mean, in hurry, I just understand the key phrases. So,
Yeah,
so
that's
that
fine.
actually I
We are
marked
not
as wrong.
we're not discussing like why option 3 is that certain person has done anything wrong. We're just trying to know why option 3 can be incorrect. Okay, now can you please give an idea why option 3 is incorrect? What do you think can be the reason behind it? Anybody can tell, please unmute and tell. Let us interact.
Key phrases. Mhm.
Khyati, can you tell?
No, I was just trying to make up the answer, but I know the what is key phraseness.
Okay, what
So
is
it,
key phraseness? Tell.
so it is a number of Wikipedia articles that use as an anchor and divided by number of articles that mention it at all.
Exactly. So can we say कि commonness will ignore the entities with low key phraseness? It does not, if you see the formula, it does not refer about ignoring them. It just refers to about taking the one that is the most frequent, right?
Yes.
We cannot say कि it is trying to ignore. Why? Because if you see in this slide, what did I say? Or maybe I will explain it here. Let's say I had W1, W2, W3, and I had this article 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. In first step, I am trying to identify this in the case of mention detection, like which entities I have to link to. Sorry, please ignore. Let's say this way: W1, W2, W3, W4. These are my entities, or let's say these are my mentions that I identified in the step of mention detection. Okay. A1, A2, A3 are the articles that I thought these are the Wikipedia pages. These I can link to, right? This I identified in the phase of what? Can you tell? Link
Link
generation.
generation.
And in this case, I am trying to establish the link between them, right? In the case of entity disambiguation, right? I will filter what are out of, let's say here, like this were my 100 articles. From here, I will skim it down to A1, A2, A3. So this is my phase of entity disambiguation. And then finally putting the link is my case of entity linking, right? So let's say when I am trying to identify how many times, or I'm picking the one entity that is occurred most frequently, am I trying to ignore those with the low key phraseness? No, not only the low key phraseness, other than the one that is highly mentioned, I'm ignoring all, right? Whether they are moderately mentioned or whether they are having a moderate key phraseness value or high or low, I'm ignoring all of them. I'm only taking the one with the highest. And see, this key phraseness and this commonness, these are not related. Why? Because these are the separate measures for two different phases, right? Though one phase is a prerequisite for the other, but these are two independent measures, right?
Yes.
Anybody, any doubt, or is it clear?
Clear.
Okay, now let us see one question on this key phraseness. Now you will get to know why, what I have been talking about, and how we can calculate the key phraseness. Just a simple formula based question. Please attempt it quickly and put your answer in the chat box. I think Khyati just mentioned it, the formula 2 minutes ago. So just put that formula, put the values and calculate the answer. Put your answers in the chat box. 2 minutes. Simple question. I will discuss one question on next question is there on commonness. Then it will be very clear the difference between the two. For us to understand the explanation for question 3, it's necessary you attempt these two. So I will give a rough hint. So how many times, number of times entity was mentioned? Number of times mentioned entity was linked. Now you have just to intelligently identify the values and calculate the answer. So what is this formula is for? Key phraseness. So here your entity, let's say, is Tokyo. Okay, this is your entity and this is your concepts. This is the number of times. the entity was linked to a concept. Linked to some concept. I think I have solved the entire question. You have just to put the values. Put the values and put your, after that, calculate the answer and put the answer value in the chat box. 2 minutes.
Done, ma'am, actually.
Okay. What is your correct option? Please speak.
Yeah, 2.
2. Great.
Everyone I think wrote.
Great, great, great. Okay. Let us see why. Let us see why. C1, C2, C3, C4. No link. The value is given as 316, 110, 10, 7, 57. This is your concept. This is number of times it was linked, and your word is Tokyo. So as we saw for the formula of key phraseness, that is number of times entity was linked and mentioned entity, sorry. Sorry for the typo. So number of times, why is it not selecting? Number of times mentioned entity was linked upon number of times entity was mentioned. So if we see for the denominator, it says it occurs in 500 different Wikipedia articles. This means the number of times entity was mentioned, right? Is it right?
Yes.
So in the denominator we have 500 and number of times mentioned entity was linked. So from here we can see that Tokyo was linked to C1 316 times. It was linked to C2 110 times. It was linked to C3 10 times, and it was linked to C4 how many times? 7 times. So if we calculate, this value comes out to be 443 by 500, that is 0.886. That is your option 2. Is it clear to all?
Yeah,
Yes.
Great. Let us move to the next question. So given your previous matrix only, C1, C2, C3, C4, no link. What are the values? 316, 110, 10, 7, 57. You are to find the value of commonness. Please attempt. Acha, one thing I forgot to mention. Why did we not take into account 57 here? Why I'm not putting it in the numerator?
We are only supposed to consider the entity which are linked.
Exactly, correct. Whosoever said has given the correct explanation. So we are only going to take the ones that are in which our entity was linked to some certain concept. We will not take into those cases where the entity was not linked. Hence, we are excluding this 57. Okay. And even if it was not given that the entity was mentioned 500 times here in the heading, you could have just added this value. It sums up to 500 if you see. So, okay. Let's say in some assignment or in an exam you encounter such questions, so don't panic that the denominator value is not given explicitly. You can calculate by the summation of from this column. Okay, clear to all?
Yes.
Great. Now let us attempt this question. What is the commonness for this entity S? S was your concept of Tokyo. It is linked to C4. We had a huge discussion on the concept of commonness. Just attempt and put your answers in the chat box. See, all these phases: mention detection, link generation, entity disambiguation. These are the three key steps for entity linking. This you should always remember. And this is the sequence in which we attempt. 1, 2, and 3. So attempt this question. Just put the formula, plug in the values and get the answer. Straightforward question.
Done, ma'am.
Done. Great. What is the answer? 4. All are saying 4. Let us see if it is the correct one or not. I'll solve it here only. Can be done. So it says, what is the concept of commonness? I will give again a brief primer on that. We are going to select, we have to know which word I have to link to which concept, right? So for that, what I am doing in the case of link generation, I am trying to take the most frequent one, okay? But it can be, in this case, what is given, you are to identify the commonness of S being linked to C4 only. If you see from here, the most frequent one should have been S being linked to C1, right? Right? Am I right or
Yes.
not?
Yes.
Right. So, but according to the
Right, you are right.
question given, we are to find the commonness of S being linked to C4. So what I will do, I will just times find the number of times S was linked to C4 upon the total number of times in my corpus S was linked to some concept I. In this case, I goes from 1 to 4. Why I'm not taking no link into account here? As we mentioned earlier, and as you can see from the formula, the entity should always be linked to some concept. Okay, is it correct? So from here, S being linked to C4.
Yeah.
Yes. Any doubt? Any doubt? Please tell. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I heard some voice, so I thought someone is having it. Okay, fine. So here, S being linked to C4, how many times? That is 7. That value is 7. And number of times S was linked to some concept. So it's like it is ranging from 1 till 4. Concept 1. In concept 1, it was mentioned 316 times. In concept 2, it was mentioned 110 times. In concept 3, it was mentioned 10 times. And in concept 4, how many times was it mentioned? 7 times. Are we going to take this into account?
No,
Why?
because the token doesn't like link to this. Actually, there
Yes,
is no linking. Yeah?
exactly. So the answer is 7 by 443, option 4. Clear? Clear or not?
Clear, clear.
Okay. Let us see the next question. So I hope now question 3 is also clear to you. What was question 3? Can we build an accurate mention detection and disambiguation system using key phraseness and common The answer was already clear why 2 and 4 is the correct option. But when we were attempting for this commonness, was it ignoring the entities with low key phraseness? Did it ignore? No, right? Because have we only taken the concept of commonness that takes only into account the most frequent ones. But in the question it was given, can we find the commonness of S being linked to C4? Though the key phraseness for this, what would be the key phraseness for S being linked to C4? Was there any concept of S being linked to C4 as a key phraseness value? No, right? There was only the concept of getting the key phraseness value of a particular word, not the particular word being linked to some concept. Okay. But in the case of commonness, we can have the concept being linked to a word being linked to a certain concept. So those are two independent measures. Now you got to know why I was saying these are two different independent measures for the two stages. Though the stages they follow one after the other, but the measures are still independent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I hope my objective of discussing these two questions was clear. Let us see this question. Here also this is MSQ type, multiple select. Put all the answers which you think are correct. Information extraction. First of all, you need to know what is information extraction. Two minutes to go. Session timing is about to get over. What is the correct answer? 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is not the correct. Attempt again, Khyati. Entity linking, is it related to information extraction or is it different? Information extraction is given a huge corpus. Let's say you were given multiple documents. You are to identify which two documents are most relevant for a given problem. This kind of thing. Given candidates, you are to identify, you have given the possible solutions, you are to identify the target candidates. But if we see in the concept of entity linking, as Khyati is mentioning option 2, I will tell why it is not correct. Why? Because in this case, first we have to identify the possible solutions ourselves, right? In the case of mention detection, we are doing this step. Sorry, even in the not in this case, we are doing this in the case of what phase we are doing this. In the case of link generation, we are trying to find all the possible solutions, and then we are coming down to target candidates in the case of entity disambiguation. But before that, there is this one phase of mention detection that we are doing additionally. That is not a part of information extraction, hence this option is not correct. Okay. So here, is it clear, Khyati?
Yes, yes.
Great. So here the correct answer is option 1 and option 4. Why? Because automatic knowledge based construction. Let's say I wanted to obtain knowledge about this task of NLP, natural language processing. I already know what is my term is, or it could be the other way around as well. Given D1 and D2, you are to identify all other possible documents that can serve to construct this knowledge base. Okay, that could be your reverse information extraction kind of a procedure, still a part of it. So this is automatic knowledge base construction. Okay, and question answering from documents. Let's say you were given D1, D2, D3, DN. This was the entire corpus of documents you were given, and there was some query. So you had to identify on the basis of similarity or something which related to this query, what are the key terms in it, what are the key terms in each of the document, calculate their cosine similarity or some another measure, and then based on the highest similarity value you could return any two top k similar documents. So that could be your this phase of question answering from documents. This neural machine translation, this is not a part of information extraction. Why? Because let's say you were to do the translation, okay, from English to French, and you had the corpus of only the English document. So could we say that this is the task of sorry, in this we are given the corpus of these kind of the documents, right, and we are to generate the possible solution. But let's say I had the documents, both the documents only in one language. Can I do the language translation in this case? No, right? So this is, it can be brought down to the task of information extraction, but before that you have to perform some another pre-processing kind of steps. Okay, so here your correct answer is option 1 and 4. I hope it is clear to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I think time is over. Let us meet next Saturday.
So one quick question actually.
Yes.
Uh, so can we use like information extraction? Actually, I was thinking some.
For what task? Please ask. Mention the name of the task for which you want to use information extraction.
Okay, okay, give me a second actually.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Take. 1, 3, and 4. I think I explained. Raja, is it clear now why 1/3 is not a correct option?
Yeah, yeah, actually, I was thinking like that. No, if like we have some kind of like data, so if we want to do some, yeah, you already explained that. So in that we need the corpus of both the like
Yes.
source and target.
Target language in
Yeah.
which you want to translate your source language documents into.
Information. Yeah, I was thinking, can we use that in the speech recognitions?
Yes.
Yeah, 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 actually, because in actually speech there is a very like confusing word are coming because of two. I think sir already like discussed in the class. Two maybe write TO, and TOO.
Yes.
So I'm thinking so in this way. Okay.
Yes, you can definitely employ translation and then do the speech recognition.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
This final exam will be online, ma'am. Online, right? Final exam of NLP.
I think it should be offline in some computer centers they are going to allocate. Maybe you can write to the Swayam portal regarding this query.
Mm. While applying for exam,
They must have
I
asked you for the centers, no?
yes,
What
exam
centers?
centers were we were asked for the opting or selecting the exam centers.
Hmm. So that's
So
why I think it will be, kind of a computer based. You might have to go to a computer center. There, the system and all will be there, and there you have to attempt it online.
okay,
Like we do
and
for all the competitive exams, no? JEE
okay,
placement
okay.
tests and all.
Huh, huh.
Like that it will
And
be.
questions are descriptive or objective on all questions, morning and afternoon sessions,
I think one session would be one kind of a question. Maybe you can write to the authorities regarding this, Rachni.
because we need to prepare accordingly. We should have
Yes,
mindset. That's why I'm asking.
maybe I'll let you know by next week.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One more question regarding the exam actually.
Yes.
So Yeah, we have to like by heart the formula, or we can.
No need to buy hard. Do you think there is anything to buy hard in these simple
Mm,
formulas that we are using?
no, not
Commonness, key
this, but
phraseness.
earlier we are using so many kinds of similarity formula and
Yeah, you
so
can.
many.
I think so.
Yes, yes, many problems are having formula calculation. So we
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
remember, I think.
So you just kind of try to understand the concept, and based on the concepts, maybe you try to derive the formula, or if you want to save time, you practice it a lot so that it automatically gets memorized. No need to buy heart it as such. Just practice a lot of questions related to that particular concept, and you will automatically remember the formula. No need to, by heart. If you will try to by heart, you will definitely forget in the exam.
Yeah,
Just practice a
actually,
lot of questions related to that concept.
yeah, actually, I found that in the most of the cases, like formula is no like directly given by this scientist. So this is the formula. So
Hmm.
I think intuition is not much clear. So that we have to remember the
Yeah,
same.
some cases it might be the case that you have to remember, but most of the cases I think it's intuition based. You can, if you know the concept,
Intuition
you will
based.
be able to derive in just 20 to 30 seconds, put the values, get the answer.
Yeah, yeah, they say like today, like formula is we can derive it very easily.
Yes.
And week one, like we have a like some kind of formula we can derive that. But I think I'm little bit not like clear in similarity kind of formula, na. So
Mm-hmm.
many persons come and give some kind of
So you can
formula.
try to remember essay, na? Just like let's say KL divergence is there. So it is asymmetric. So you just try to remember key what thing we keep in the numerator, what thing we keep in the denominator, right? Pi log Pi by Qi, something like that is the formula, no? So you
Yeah,
just try to remember why we are taking this particular thing in the numerator, not in the denominator. Just try to attempt a lot of questions related to that. That would be a better approach, and it will help you to
yeah,
clarify the concept as well, why we say it is asymmetric or why we say it is symmetric.
yeah, yeah. Got, yeah,
Okay, okay,
got it. Yeah,
okay,
thank
okay,
you.
great. Okay, any other doubts, anybody?
Yes, ma'am. Actually,
Yes.
it is not related to assignments,
Yeah.
but actually, I want to write one research paper on NLP.
Hmm.
So
Which area of NLP or which problem of NLP you are working on?
I have not started yet. I am just stuck into that key which area I should pick up because I know little bit NLP and
Hmm.
now I am learning it. So I have not decided on the topic yet. So can you just suggest me which because I'm writing for the first time, so I want to write a review paper
Review paper on NLP or the applications of NLP?
Okay,
on
so
NLP.
can you give my can I give some suggestion? Actually, I am working with Tata Digital and I am working with like chatbot things. So I found that like sentiment analysis, language detections, Q&A kind of question, and language understanding is the most common problem nowadays.
Okay.
Actually, already we are facing the issue with the sentiment analysis because nowadays no model is like more accurate because we want to like customize the model in our domain, but it is still not working well. And language detection is very kind of difficult because in India there is I think lot of languages are using. As of now, we can see like 13 or 14 major languages. So we are also trying to detect the language, but detecting of language is very difficult because every person write every language in only English letter. If someone write in like their own like native language, then it is easy to like detect. But someone if write in Hindi in like English, then model is performance is not good. Bengali, Tamil, and Marathi, everything in English. So here, if you want to add something, you can add also. Go with some like good research paper also. And sentiment is also very good topic because customization of domain is very difficult in NLP. Nowadays, a lot of models present, like are also cloud like service provider also there for this. But actually, domain-wise performance is very like difficult, and I also talk about already about speech recognition. Speech recognition is also very crucial because I want to our team is want to implement the speech functionality in chatbot itself. If someone just okay if he want to perform the want to interact with the chat, na, he just say something like that, hi, I want to see my order status. So what we can do that we translate it in the text or convert in the text, speech recognize, then we perform the language understanding on that, then we will reply the answer according to that. So this field is also very vast. So I think this is as of now I can see the application very much. 4 to 5. One is Q&A. You can write Q&A. A second one is language understanding. Language understanding means if you want, no, I want to order a status. I want to see my order status. So what is the intention of this sentence? So order status. User is want to see the order status. No? So this is one questions. Language understanding. Second one is a sentiment. Third one, and fourth one is the, we can say, language identification itself. And I think these four, and speech recognitions one other. Yeah, we can choose the domain of, I think this is the popular domain in NLP I can see so far. Entity recognitions, and in this one is also I think useful, but in chatbot actually didn't come, so I know I don't have much idea about this. But in chatbot, these 4 5 field is very widely used.
Okay, thank you so much, Radha.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Kathy, maybe you can also explore this area of Q&A, question answering systems. That is very widely being used nowadays. Given any how we can optimize the performance or the functionality or add new features to the existing chat box. What are all the different questions in addition to FAQs that we can consider for the system to answer automatically? And also, there is this very buzzing area, if you see, due to the spread of social media, WhatsApp and all, many fake messages and misinformation spread is there. So, how to detect whether this information is real or unreal? Means, is it fake or is it authentic? That area is in huge discussion nowadays. So, maybe you can explore that as well.
Okay, and one more thing. Suppose if I have chosen this area, identifying fake messages, then how to choose the or select related papers?
So you just go to Google Scholar and search for the latest papers. You just type misinformation spread in social media or in WhatsApp, and you can find the related papers. So there are many websites like Google Scholar, ResearchGate, like that. You try and search over there the related papers, go through what they have done, go through some review papers, then you will have a basic background knowledge of what all has been done in the field and what are the challenges and how you can attempt them. You that solution you have to think, but first you need to identify what are the new things that you can do and
Oh,
what all the things have been already done.
okay. So
Okay.
I can write a review paper on what are the challenges and
Yeah,
what are
that's
the proposed method for this or
yes, yes,
like this, right?
yes.
Okay.
Write to me in case if you face any issue. I will put my email ID in the chat box. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So you are working or you are a student?
No, no, I'm professor.
Okay, okay. Which college?
Actually teaching MCA students in Mumbai. So
Okay,
it's a Hire College.
okay, okay. Glad to hear. Yeah, please write to me in case you have any issues finding the research papers or anything. Put my ID in the chat box.
Oh, okay. So Subi ma'am, actually I also my objective is join like मैं इस objective से इस like course को join किया था कि मैं लोकल लैंग्वेजेस के ऊपर लाइक सेंटिमेंट एंड ये सब जो कॉन्सेप्ट अपन पढ़ रहे हैं इसको मैं अप्लाई कर सकूं, इस बेसिस के थॉट के हिसाब से मैं इस कोर्स को ज्वाइन किया था।
जी
बट अभी के लिए तो इंग्लिश में ही मैं बहुत सारा डिफिकल्टी देख पा रहा हूँ, तो इसीलिए मेरा कुछ अभी ऐसा थॉट है जो कुछ ऐसा प्रोसेस नहीं हो पा रहा है। क्योंकि हिंदी के ऊपर जैसे अपन सेंटिमेंट अगर निकालना है तो अपन क्या करते हैं, उसको पहले इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट करते हैं, फिर उसके बाद उसका सेंटिमेंट निकालते हैं। तो
यस
ऐसा भी हो सकता है ना कि ट्रांसलेशन में उसका एग्जैक्ट मीनिंग कुछ बदल सकता है, तो निकालना चाहिए
Exactly.
तो निकल जाएगा क्या।
एग्जैक्टली उसका सेंस बदल जाएगा ना पूरा, लाइक वी आर ट्राइंग टू से समथिंग पॉजिटिव बट व्हेन दैट थिंग इज ट्रांसलेटेड टू इंग्लिश इट सेंस गेट्स रिवर्स्ड।
या तो इसी सोच के हिसाब से ज्वाइन किया था कि एल्गोरिदम जानने से बहुत इस चीज क्लियर होगा, लेकिन ये तो काफी मतलब है, टीम वर्क चाहिए इसके लिए बहुत
Yes,
सारा।
sir. Like it's a challenging area. That's why we say there are so many problems still unresolved, and we have to work extensively, develop new tools, new algorithms. It's not like कि अगर हमने English के लिए जो tools हैं वही use कर लिए तो we can solve the problem just on the basis of translation. That is not at all sufficient.
या अभी मैं
Problem
एक्चुअली
solve होगा but 60% solve होगा.
So, madam, there is one tool for available for Indian languages, no? INLTK.
Yes, yes.
या
ma'am.
वो मैंने ट्राई करके देखा
I
है।
use that INLTK. I am from Karnataka. I am doing research on Kannada.
अच्छा.
So when I apply that INLTK on Kannada, it is not giving any answers, results. But on Hindi, it gives some results to some extent.
So,
But on Kannada, it's not giving any results from INLTK.
So Rajni ma'am, maybe you should try looking for some tools that are specific to Kannada language. It's
Yeah,
like
it's there. INLTK is there for all
see,
Indian languages. Just
see
we have to
the
put the keyword there, KN.
yeah. See, the issue is कि INLTK is not specifically for just one Indian language, right? It I think comprises of 10 to 17 different Indic languages.
Yes,
है
yes.
ना? So it
Huh.
might be the case na there are certain cases of Kannada it is not able to identify and you are not able to get the correct answer.
For example, to find similar sentences for one sentence, it's coming for Hindi. Just we have to change the keyword in the argument. HN for Hindi.
Yeah, that is there कि you will change the keyword and you can get the answer, but ये भी तो है ना उस tool का अपना कुछ limitations है ना कि वो किसी एक particular language पे it performs well and it does not perform well on the other language. Let's say it's not performing well on Kannada, but it performs well on Bengali. So maybe
Okay,
you
but
try to search for more language specific tools.
there is no Kannada specific tool as of now. But
Maybe
what
we
I
can think
understood.
of maybe we can think of how to develop one in that case.
Okay, okay.
We
Thank you.
can see कि उन्होंने INLTK में क्या फंक्शनैलिटी इंक्लूड किया था और हम इसके बेसिस पे कोई कन्नड़ा का बना सकते हैं क्या ऐसे. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then thank you all. Let's meet next
Thank you
Saturday.
so much, ma'am.
Thank you.